Hello crafty people, and welcome to the Sweet November Stamps Summertime Fun YouTube Hop and Giveaway. My name's Amy and I'm going to share with you some paper piecing today, which means that it takes away all of that problem with colouring that people have. I'm going to do some very simple colouring, but it's literally only going to be using a couple of colours. So I'm going to use this really cute dragon stamp, which is called Extraordinarily Happy, which is from the new Sweet November Stamps release, and also this Love to Craft High Tide paper pack, and I'm going to use 2 papers from this pack. So I'm going to start by getting the papers out that I want and some white paper, which is my marker paper that I normally use. I'm just going to use this stamp. I've just rubbed my hands over him to sort of make him a little bit more usable, as it's the first time I've used him. But as you can see, he has stamped out so beautifully. And then I'm going to stamp him also onto both of my patterned papers. I tried to line this first one up so that one of those diamonds was right in the centre of his chest there, because I just thought that would be a really nice placement for it. And then I'm also stamping him onto this blue and white spotted paper. My first idea was I was going to do just the blue dragon, but I thought actually why not try and do a 2-for-1, so that's what I'm going to do with this. So you'll see me stamp out a second dragon on the white in a minute, but to start off with I'm just going to use this YR30 to give a little bit of definition to his wings and those spines along his back and his horns. Then I'm going to start cutting up my papers, so I'm literally following along the design lines here. It gets a little bit trickier because of this pattern that I've decided to use to stamp onto. It does show how it's worth considering which papers you are using, but it is a great way to use up some of those extra papers that you have in your stash. And like I say, it does help to mean that you don't have to do as much colouring if you don't feel in the mood for it, and I think it gives a nice texture and design to your images as well, so you don't lose any of that. So I'm fussy cutting around all of these bits, and I will leave you to watch while I just finish off fussy cutting everything out. And like I say, because I'm doing this as a 2-for-1 idea, so I'm going to get 2 cards out of these 2 dragons. I am cutting all of the little bits out, whereas if you wanted to and you were just doing, say like on the Instagram hop that I was part of from yesterday for the Sweet November Stamps release, the shirt on the man that I stamped out there, I'd also paper pieced that, but I only cut the shirt out for him. So if it depends on what you're doing, whether you have to cut absolutely everything out or whether you can leave bits. But with this one I wasn't sure which bits I was going to use yet, so I just literally cut everything out. And you'll see I also switch between a craft knife as well as my scissors, just for getting into those harder to reach areas. And for those scales around his tail, that's really useful and definitely what I needed. Right, I'll leave you to finish watching the rest of it, and then I'll come back to you once we move on to the next stage. decided that I did want a second dragon, so here, as I said, I'm just going to stamp out a second one right next to the first one. It doesn't really matter. You can just use separate bits of paper or the same bit. And then I'm going to start lining up all my little bits that I've cut out and get my sticks to glue pen so that I can get into all of those little details and the fine bits so that I can start sticking these layers over the top. So I'm just going to decide which bits I want to make green in this design, and the other bits I'm going to make the blue, other than obviously those little bits that I coloured in earlier. So here, as you can see, I'm just lining up with the design that I've already done, and this bit, this middle stomach bit, is the only bit that I was intending to use originally from the green, but we'll see how the green dragon turns out as well. So I've added in just the little bits there for his wings, and I've decided that I'm not going to use those two bits for the inside of the wings. So I'm going to colour in this one as well. And I found it a lot easier to do this before I put the paper piecing on. But this one, obviously, I'm playing catch up a little bit because I changed my plan. So if I were you and you're doing it next time, I would definitely use the pen and do whatever colours you're going to do before you start doing your paper piecing, unless you're actually colouring the paper itself. So I've just used a little light pink there to go over his cheeks and in his ears, and then I'm using a grey coloured pen, and I'm going to use this W4, which is a little bit dark, but I felt like the first one I was trying to use didn't really give me enough of a definition, so I'm a lot happier with how this is coming out, and I think it will stand out well on the blue as well, the dark blue, which we'll see in a minute. So I'm just literally giving him a little bit of extra shadow, but that's all I'm doing, just the one pen, so no real effort involved. And as you can see, it just gives him a little bit more 3D. So now I'm going to cut out, again, the same thing, just cutting out of the blue. And I have made this a bit quicker again for you so that you don't have to sit through me doing everything and cutting it out slow time all over again. This time round, I know that I don't want to use things like the horns on the top of his head, so I am just snipping those off straight away. I should really have just snipped the wings off as well, the insides of the wings, but I don't know, I kept them on just in case, I guess, if I decided to change my mind and do it in a different way. This one, you'll see I did slightly differently in that I didn't bother cutting around all of the head. I just cut off that little section down his stomach and left that as one piece instead, with his head attached still. So you can always adapt and change how you make your cuts, but either way works just the same. So here we're just finishing off again, just doing those little extra bits with your craft knife just to get those little extra sections out. You could, if you wanted to, again, paper piece these back on top, so if you didn't want to cut them out like this, you could stamp a third one out on, say, white card and just literally cut them out and not have to use your craft knife. You could go in with your scissors and just re-stick them over the top. But so I'm back here now, just again with my 6-2 glue pen and just filling in the other sections. So where I didn't put the green on them, I'm now putting some blue. And as you can see, I'm quite happy actually with how that little green dragon turned out. I think he actually looks quite good. The lines are a little bit confusing with the pattern, and it definitely looks better on the blue one, I think, with the stomach, with that diamond in the middle of his tummy, which was really what I was going for. But I think he works as green. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. So this is me again, just finishing this off here, just again adding that grey in and a little bit of pink back on his cheeks. And then who doesn't like some sparkle? So I'm also going to go in with a little bit of a glitter sparkle pen and just put some sparkle on their wings. And then it will be time to make the cards. So I'm just going to show you me putting together the cards here, just going through using that sentiment that comes with the stamp set and just using that to put the sentiment on in two different places on these cards. They're both a little 5x5 white card blanks that I'm using, and I'm just using that same paper pad that I used to do the paper piecing. As always, I like to go around the edges of things just to, I think it gives them that extra layer. And I'll just whiz through all of this so that you can see the finished cards at the end. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch these videos. I do apologise for any power tools or noises that you can hear in the background of this recording. We are trying to put a kitchen together at my house at the moment, so it's a little bit noisy, not the best for trying to do this, so I do apologise. But I hope you've enjoyed what I've done and that it's inspired you to do some paper piecing, and that you don't always have to reach for your marker pens or pencils to use these stamps and stamped images. Don't forget that you can stand a chance to win this entire Summer Fun clear stamp release from Sweet November Stamps. That's 11 stamp sets and 2 sequin mixes. And all you need to do is subscribe to each participant's channel in this YouTube hop, like their hop video, and leave a comment, and do that before June the 13th, 2024, to be in with a chance to win all of those. Again, thank you very, very much for taking the time to watch this video with me today, and I hope that you've enjoyed it. And if you do, please do like, subscribe, and leave me a message. Thank you very much for watching, and we're pretty much now at the point where you get to see the final finished cards. Thank you again, and I hope you have a great weekend.